All right, welcome everybody to episode 6 of the AI Advantage Show. We're your hosts. I'm Colin Episcopo,
Kim Reynolds here.
and we're both actually feeling under the weather today. Full disclosure, you probably hear it in my voice, but we're here. The show must go on, and we're very excited actually to talk about AI and e-commerce today, which is really cool, very applicable even to us together. And Kim, who do we have today?
Well, today we have Arthur Root, and he is the CEO of Nostra, which is a leading e-commerce website and speed optimization software. They've helped brands like Run, Passion Footwear, Earthing drive revenue and lower cost per clicks through faster site speeds, because we all know that if you have a slow site, then not only is Google going to penalize you, but your potential customers are going to say peace out and go somewhere
Yeah.
else. So they help with that issue. They are the number one source to help with that issue. So it's such a huge part of e-commerce, and we're really, really blessed to have Arthur here today to talk with us about it.
Yeah, very cool. Very, very exciting. And before we talk to Arthur, just want to talk briefly about the AI prompt exchange. And the AI prompt exchange is where you can go actually to get 2,000, I think more than 2,000 free AI prompts that you can use in your campaigns, use for your marketing, just help you to grow your business. So go check that out. It's free to join. It's free to take prompts and give prompts. If you want to drop some good prompts off that you've used, that you found that have worked really well, go to the AIpromptexchange.com. So, welcome, Arthur. Thank you for joining us. We're very excited to learn your secrets to e-commerce, and I'm sure a lot of people out there are as well.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here and really, really looking forward to this.
Cool. Yeah, I've known you for a couple years now, and it's really been cool to see how Nostra's grown and even kind of pivoted in ways. And so I'm really excited just to learn more about what you guys are doing. And Kim and I just recently, we've got lots of different clients all over the place. And we recently had another one now that we're working with, and the first thing we did was work on site speed. And so I know that's kind of your bread and butter. So maybe you can go into a little bit about that and just like how important of a function that is, and how you're using AI in this space to help these Shopify stores.
Yeah, of course, of course. Great to be here. Site speed is probably, for the last 2 decades, 3 decades, has been the most important thing on the internet in terms of conversions, in terms of everything. And that trickles up and down the conversion stack. So if you think about, if you're running a company like Facebook or Google or any of these kind of traffic acquisition places, they want to send their traffic to places that you know that people like, right? You don't want to send them to crazy website that they then think Facebook is nuts. They want to send them to a very well put together site that's selling something that they want, that treats their visitors well, etc. And so the first thing that when you make your website faster is it actually helps you a lot in these ad auctions and SEO, etc. So that's number one. And then number two, I think it's not a stretch to believe that anytime you make your website faster, your conversion rate goes up. Sometimes it goes up by 20%, sometimes it goes up by 5%. The delta can change based on who it is. But yeah, there could be a very, very large impact of site speed to the tune of there are hundreds of studies out there on the internet that we've replicated, that others have replicated. For every 100 milliseconds that you make your website faster, revenue goes up by 1%. There's no surprise that Amazon's website is not this like super slick design. It's just a super super fast website that works. And so at the end of the day, site speed is probably the most important thing, I think, for somebody to focus on day one here.
Yeah, I think you're right, and I really do think the only thing that kind of is working for you as a business against your if you have slow site speed is a like highly motivated visitor. I think that's the only thing that can overcome it, because they're just so motivated to go to your site for whatever reason that they are going to sit there and they're willing to endure the cost of that slow load. And as most of you, I'm sure everybody's experienced this, where you click on a site and you're like, I'm going to check that out. and it's like this wheel of death, and I don't even know how long you give it. I'm maybe like 2 seconds and I'm gone. I'm like, I know there's one that's going to load faster, and I'm going there. So I think we all know just how important that is. Can you talk a little bit about how you're using AI to accomplish this?
Yeah, so what we have is what we call an edge delivery engine. And so what we're doing is we are caching both static and dynamic elements on the edge. And so there are two elements that you really have to understand here. Number one is, what is the edge? Well, it's a content delivery network. So you can think of servers around the world. So if I'm in New York City, there's a server in New York City. If Colin's in San Diego, there's a server in San Diego. And so instead of calling from the origin, which might be one, it might be 60 different locations, we're actually using hundreds and hundreds of locations around the world. So the proximity to the device is the number one thing that we're doing. And the second thing that we're doing is caching. And so you can think of that as having a pre-built version, kind of like in the local memory of the server, so that it's able to think of what to show immediately rather than having to think and then build. Now, for a normal website, it's not ridiculous. It's not very hard to cache something. But for an e-commerce website, it is. And the reason behind that is that there are elements of a site that cannot be cached to normal visitors. For example, a shopping cart, where Colin might have, A in his shopping cart and Arthur has B in his shopping cart. If I were to show Colin A or Arthur's shopping cart and Arthur was to get Colin's shopping cart, it would be a disaster, and that would be, just not worth the risk. And so we use AI to intelligently determine what on the website can be cached and what cannot be cached. And then in the load path, we're able to, in real time, with it, determine, okay, we can cache this, we can't cache that, and then construct the web experience in 50 milliseconds versus, the normal kind of way to go all the way back to the server can take 400 or 500 milliseconds. And so what we're doing is we're really using AI to intelligently cache the elements of the site where it's possible to cache, and then not, cache the elements that are impossible to cache.
Wow, very cool. Yeah, and I think, we're all kind of a little familiar with like website caching and how that works. And so and if anyone, I'm a gamer, so it's like knowing that you want to be on the servers that are close to your location just to deal with lag and input things like that. So I can see how that's going to be a big factor in making those sites load a lot faster. So that's really cool.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And then I know e-commerce is a little bit more, like you said, it's a little bit more difficult to cache. And so, is this something that just people don't have the technology, or they just are not quite sure how to do it, or they're doing something different? Like, what is unique about how your AI is doing this process, and how's it able to be so successful?
Yeah. So, everybody's utilizing a content delivery network, whether you know it or not. If you're on Shopify, you're using Cloudflare CDN.
Hmm.
What they're doing though is they're just using a generic version of it, and they're not actually examining what's going on in each individual site, because the nature of caching is you can't be right 99% of the time. You have to be right 100% of the time. So it does take advanced algorithms that we've developed that nobody else in the world has, in order to be able to actually determine what elements of the page can be cached in real time. And so what the difference between what we're doing versus kind of a content delivery network on Shopify or on any other content management system is that we are able to actually in real time make these adjustments that others can't, so that we can cache more and more of the site. And that's what we would kind of deem the special sauce of what we're doing. And by being able to do that, we're able to do all of this without requiring any of our customers to write a single line of code, without any integration time, and it can be up and running in 5 minutes.
Wow. Yeah, that's incredible. That's really, really cool. So the fact is just like nobody has this technology. They're just kind of using the generic version that's probably like a Shopify app. Like I'm sure there's some just kind of generic versions on there that they're able to do. But like you said, it'd be a disaster if you were off by that 1%, right? And I'm seeing a cart that has product in it that I didn't add, I'm definitely freaking out. My trust goes way down, right? Obviously, like that's going to hurt conversions depending on how big your shop is. So that could be really bad.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's really cool. So we got a little bit of insight into your secret, and you did kind of walk us through that a little bit. Where do you see, like, well, actually, I have a question about just really like, can this work on any Shopify store? Are there just certain stores that it works on, or certain verticals or industries, or is this kind of just for everybody?
It should work on every website, on Shopify and on Salesforce Commerce. And yeah, we're able to work, and the setup time is 5 minutes. The only place where we don't like to work is if you've already gone headless and you've already, and the nature is that it's a unique website. And so our time to build an integration with the tech stack is usually just not worth it for kind of a partnership. But yeah, if you're on Shopify or you're on Salesforce Commerce, we're usually able to work with you in, a couple minutes.
That's awesome. Yeah, and I feel like that's most stores. That's kind of where they're at. And is this only for a Shopify store, or is this? I know you mentioned Salesforce. Let's say like we've got a WordPress site. Is this something that they can use on any website, or are there? If not, are there any other like maybe AI tools that are kind of similar that obviously they don't kind of have the secret sauce that you guys have, but something that would work for them?
Yeah, so we focus on e-commerce sites, so Shopify, Salesforce Commerce. Obviously, there are a lot on WordPress. We don't integrate today with WordPress, but we're working on that. If I were building a WordPress site as a developer, I'd probably be using like WordPress Engine right now. They've got a good caching solution, not quite as robust as ours, but for what they do, it's pretty solid. They also, generally load in, WordPress generally loads in JavaScript on the client side, which has its cons, but one of the pros is that you can cache more on the server side. So it's less of a problem for sites that are using WordPress. I would, if I were building a site on WordPress, just be using WordPress Engine, and you can get a lot of the way there with just that.
We do
Yeah, and
actually. We're built on
yeah,
WP Engine, and all the sites that we build are built on that also. They
yeah.
they're hard to beat.
And yeah, I was going to ask you, Kim, because you got some impressive site speeds. How were you able to do that?
I think a lot of it does have to do with WP Engine, and then I know a guy, and he is really good at optimizing. Really
Yeah,
good at optimizing WordPress sites, but I will be super excited when your solution comes out,
seriously.
that
Yeah,
anybody can build into their WordPress site. So
yeah,
as soon as that comes out, let us know because we will be happy to share that with the world.
yeah,
Yeah, absolutely. And do
absolutely.
you all do any Shopify sites, or is it all WordPress?
We also build Shopify sites, but we tend to do more WordPress.
Yeah,
And a lot of WordPress Shopify combination sites where the main site is WordPress and then the ecom part of it is Shopify.
Hmm.
yeah. In my experience, it's a lot harder to get. And as you said, e-commerce is just it's a more difficult problem to solve. But it's a lot more difficult from what I've seen to get higher site speeds with the Shopify store. So, what types of speeds are you seeing, and how are you able to achieve that? Maybe you did kind of go into that, but
Yeah, well, that's why we chose Shopify and Salesforce, because it was the biggest, hairiest problem.
yeah,
And we're able to get 90 plus scores on Lighthouse, on mobile, on desktop 99s, and we do a
wow,
static site generator for bots, which is important for SEO purposes. So that helps with that. And then response times sub 100 milliseconds, usually between 50 and 100 milliseconds. And so we're able to really have the fastest websites in the world for one of the hardest platforms to build that on,
yeah,
which is
yeah.
kind of our calling card, and
That's impressive.
why we
Yeah,
have so
it
much
really is.
success.
Yeah. Yeah, that really is. Yeah, I don't know of anybody that's able to hit those speeds from what I've seen. And I've had to deal with this problem now several times within the last 6 months with just different clients and different places I've been. So, and it's like I was like, guys, this is killing your conversions. And maybe you can talk a little bit about that. It's like I know we touched on it at the beginning, but like, is this really the like number one thing for conversions, or is this the first thing that people should do? For us with this new client, it was the first thing we did. Is this really that big of a deal? Because I know people who are like, I'll do that later. Is this something that they can put off, or just how urgent is this?
Well, the question I would have is, it it's the way I think of it, it's an experiment that you're going to run that you know what the winner is going to be. And so why would you not do that as soon as possible? And we definitely believe that. And it depends what way you're going to go about your site speed. So if you're going to use a server technology like Nostra, you should implement it right away. There's no doubt about it. You should just do it as soon as possible, because you're just literally just losing money for not doing it. So you've got to do it right away. If you're going to be cleaning up JavaScript and doing more of these client-side optimizations, and you're about to rebuild the entire website or add in 10 new apps, maybe you should wait until after you kind of make all those adjustments to then clean up, because you're just going to end up having to clean up twice. But I think especially if you're doing this on the server, you want to clean that up first. And then number two, if you're going to do it on the browser and do all this client-side cleanup, which is super, super important to do, and like you if you don't do it, you're never going to have a fast website. You should definitely do it. But if you're about to rebuild your website, maybe that's the only time I would say you can wait. But 9 out of 10 times, I've never seen anybody complain about their website being too fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, good point. And I like how you put it. It's like, you already know this is a winning test, so why wouldn't you run it, right? And where other tests there maybe are closer to a coin flip, or you would like to think if you're a really good tester, you're going to be, over a coin flip, maybe you're 60 or 70%, to win. And I don't know if this is worth talking about, but I know early on when we met, you guys were more focused, I think, on testing and A/B testing and delivering kind of those types of experiences. What caused the pivot? Was it just that, like, hey, this is just a big problem in the market, and this is maybe more of a business type question or entrepreneurial type question? But I noticed when you guys made that shift, and yeah, what caused that, and why did you guys make that move?
Yeah, so we started off having an A/B testing and personalization software. And when we were doing that, we actually ended up slowing down websites. And the number one complaint we had about our software that was doing very well and people liked it and there were good results was that while we could increase conversion rate by doing personalization and sites testing, we would be decreasing the amount of traffic going to the website because we were slowing it down. And so maybe increase conversion, but decrease traffic did not necessarily lead to a happy customer. And so we took a step back and we said, okay, well, let's build our personalization and testing on the edge so that we're not slowing down websites. And we very, very quickly learned that we could do that. And so we deployed it there. And then we took it one step further and we said, well, let's also make websites faster. So then we went back into research and development mode, and we built this tool that made websites faster and can do personalization and testing. And so we were really the first tool ever to not be personalization and testing we're not just personalization that doesn't slow down your website. We're actually personalization and testing that makes your website significantly faster. And when we were able to do that, we just took off to the point of going from serving maybe a couple million visits a month to now we serve 200 million visits a month through our software.
Wow. So, okay. So it still has that component in it where it can do the testing and the personalization, but now you're like, hey, actually, like, the real thing is we're also increasing the site speed. So I'm guessing though, and a lot of times I know this just as a CRO guy, that's a cultural thing, right? So it's a lot of times it's hard to, work with a company that just maybe they don't have that experimental mindset, right? Or embrace testing, but site speed, they get that, right? They're all about, hey, we got to make this faster. That means more money.
Everyone is making their website faster, period.
Yeah. And then they're probably like, okay, cool, you can do your A/B test now. Like, that's good.
Yeah, exactly. And so, we offer our A/B testing software, people use it, etc. but we're really, really a site speed company that has a testing software attached rather than a testing company that has
Right.
site speed.
Yeah. Very cool.
So if you're Joe Blow Shopify store owner, how do you go about implementing your service, your solution? What is it an app? Is it something? How do you go about getting?
Yeah, good question.
So, first thing you'll do is you go to our website, you'll book a demo with one of our people on our sales team. And they will be able to, the first question they're going to ask is how much traffic do you have? Generally, we try to avoid working with customers that have less than 50,000 sessions a month. We have customers that have 10 million sessions a month, but less than 50,000, having a caching solution is really probably not the right answer for them. So that's kind of the first qualifying question, and figuring out if it does make sense to partner here, because we view all of these relationships as partnerships at the
Mhm.
end of the day. So that would be step number one. Step number two is signing up for the software, and then step number three, all you have to do is add a TXT record to your DNS that we do during an onboarding call, where our customer success team will go in and say, we'll share their screen. We'll say, all right, now you need to add TXT record, and they're, I don't know, 15 digits in there, and then you click one button, and then it's live on their website. We will then spend the next day or two analyzing the website, letting the AI run. And when the AI has fully analyzed the website and determined what is cacheable and what is not cacheable, we are then able to turn the site live. And the next day, the website's conversion rate goes up, its revenue per user goes up, the cost per click, is a 28-day rolling average, is how they're measuring site speed. But that will go down over the next month, et cetera. And so the results are, the time to value is minutes.
Yeah, that's really cool. I was like, yeah, how fast does this actually start working? But it sounds like it starts. The setup is quick and it starts working right away, and you start seeing results within a day. That's amazing. Yeah.
Very nice.
What other types of so you said about 50,000 is right, is about that magic number. So what would you recommend for people who are maybe under that number, or how they can get to that number, right? And then they can start really working with you.
Yeah. So if you're under that number, I'd probably focus on kind of the client side cleanups, making sure you don't have extra apps that you're not using, all those good things, engaging developers that can help you with that. And then, you've got to find product market fit as an entrepreneur. It's the same thing in the B2B world as it is in the consumer world. I run a e-commerce brand. Obviously, we're a lot bigger than 50,000 sessions a month. We're doing, 8 figures of revenue a year. But you have to find product market fit. You have to have a unique value prop, and then you've got to be good at marketing it. And so there's no magic formula to just say, oh, you need to put all your money into TikTok or all your money into Facebook, or have a X, Y, and Z strategy. You really, really, really have to really find product market fit, listen to your customers, and develop a product and a marketing strategy that that works around these customers.
Great insight there. What do you see for maybe like the future of how AI is used in e-commerce? Is there a next step now past this? Is it just making this better? Because I'm sure like at a certain point you're going to start to hit diminishing returns with site speed, right? Where you're like, hey, we're already in milliseconds here. Sure, we could work all this time to shave some more milliseconds. Is that worth it for a customer experience standpoint? Probably not. So like, what are some of the next steps you have for you guys, and just with AI and e-commerce in general, do you see?
Yeah, so we I think there are a couple things that are just on a high level. Obviously site speed is important. And so how can we move more and more things out to the edge? On the AI side, it's going to be very, very interesting to see how all these generative models play out. Whether it's for marketing copy, whether it's for imagery, whether it's for analyzing data, for saying, okay, people are buying on this page, so we need to be spending more of our ad dollars so that they can go to that page. And then kind of the real crux of it will be, how can you relate different e-commerce websites to other e-commerce websites so that you can learn globally rather than being reliant on learning on just one site at a time. Because people who the systems that can crack the global learnings and then relating those to an individual website will be the ones that win, and the systems that are reliant on retraining algorithms on every single website, unless they can learn super quickly, will always fall victim long term to the algorithms that are more globally relevant.
Yeah, good point. And that's just kind of like because they have more data, right? So they're going to overwhelm with kind of that the learnings from all of that, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Do you see any other disruptions coming next year in 2024 in e-commerce or in the AI space? Where do you think things are heading?
Well, that's a good question. Yeah, if I knew, then that would make my life a lot easier. Look, I think it's going to be interesting. There are a lot of tools that are being developed. E-commerce, as a software entrepreneur, is one of the most competitive spaces because the market is so big and the distribution channels are so built in. And so I'm going to be really interested to see how something like Copilot for Shopify stores is going to work. I think it'll be really interesting to see, how autonomous and how big you can grow a company with how few employees. So whether that's a D2C skin care brand that's doing $50 million a year and has 3 employees, and the reason why they're able to do that is because they're using all of these tools that were developed using AI, or even AI tools themselves. There's going to be a lot more of that, and so what I think is going to be interesting moving forward is to see how e-commerce businesses can keep their operating expenses, their payroll very low, and while still growing revenue. And I think especially with venture funding drying up for these businesses, that's going to be crucial for these companies to succeed.
Awesome. Thank you for that, Arthur. For those who are interested in Nostra and like to learn more about you, what's the best way that they can reach out to you?
Yeah, you can either email me, arthur@nostra.ai, or arthur@shopremy.com, depending on what side of the bit, what you want to reach out to me for. Or you can just grab some time on Nostra.ai if you want to learn more about the solution. We have brands that do literally billions and billions of dollars a year, and brands that do $1 million a year, and everywhere in between using us.
Really cool. Thank you so much for being on here. It was great to learn more about Nostra and what you guys are doing. I had no idea kind of how you guys had been using the AI. So we just love learning more about how AI is just innovating in this space, and especially in e-commerce, which I can't wait to see more growth there. So thank you so much, Arthur.
Likewise, Colin, and great to meet you, Kim, and good to see you, Colin.
Yeah. All right. We'll talk soon. Let us know if you have any more big updates. Love to have you on again.
Oh,
That
yeah.
sounds like a plan.
Awesome. Take care.
Bye.
That was awesome. That was great.
Yeah. I knew
Very
site
cool.
speed was important, but I didn't realize how absolutely pivotal it is.
Yeah. Yeah. And just to hear kind of how just how fast it can make it. And as you know,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
like just dealing with these Shopify themes, like they are just a mess
Oh, yeah,
sometimes.
they're
It's
yeah.
like, it's like it's like Christmas on the Shopify store where you're like, I can add this app and I can add this app. And then you
Oh,
get in and
yeah.
like, you're like, this owner added 30 apps and he's not using any of them, and 5 of them all do the same thing.
Well,
So
it's the
that's
same on
weird.
WordPress. It's the same on
And
WordPress
it
with
can be,
plugins. It's like a
it
candy store. It's like, I can do that. I don't even need to do that, but I can.
ask Kim how she knows.
Oh, yeah, ask me how I know. Yeah, no
Yeah,
doubt.
Kim's really good about she'll add a plugin and be like, wait a second, oh my gosh, that made our site so slow. We gotta take that one off. So
Well, I'm on site speed like every day because I'm obsessed with that.
you're a
And
junkie.
so I
Yeah.
do. I look at the plugins, and I've learned to be, selective about what plugins to use. But I'm very excited to hear that they're coming out with a WordPress solution.
Yeah, that'd be
That's
great.
excellent.
Definitely
That's going to
definitely
help
been interested in
so
that.
many.
Now
Yeah.
we
So
just need 50,000 visits a month. That's where you guys can help out. Good AI
yeah,
AI
there you
team.
go.
All right. I think it's time for the news. I think we got some spicy updates, actually.
Ooh,
Yeah.
Ada, you need to bring us in on this. What's going on?
Thanks, Kim and Colin. On the AI front, Apple is bucking the trend of tech layoffs by investing in artificial intelligence in the UK. Tim Cook, the firm's chief executive, mentions plans to expand their workforce to increase AI capabilities and asserts that Apple views layoffs as a last resort. This move comes as big firms like Amazon, Meta, and Microsoft have been trimming their workforces. Cook sees this as the beginning of an AI-driven revolution and is anticipating increased investment in this field. Going over to entertainment, Tom Hanks has a word of caution for his fans regarding a dental ad featuring an AI version of him. The star has confirmed that this was done without his consent. Hanks, no stranger to motion capture and the use of AI, encourages vigilance against such unauthorized uses of an individual's likeness. So folks, keep your eyes peeled. Back to you both in the studio.
Wow. Well, thank you, Ada. Yeah, I didn't see that Tom Hanks ad. So apparently, Tom Hanks spotted there's a fake ad of him. It's like a dentist ad or something. So odd. I mean, I gotta see this thing. I haven't seen it, but they're using a fake AI Tom Hanks, and he's like, "Hey, that's not me. He made it. He can't,
Oh,
And it's really interesting. I don't know if it's just a really good deep fake or what was going on, but it'll be interesting to see. I think there was a few others in the news this week too about some deep fakes, and then the celebrities are coming out. They're like, "Hey, that's not me," because people are like, Tom Hanks fans clicking on those ads, I guess. I don't even know where these ads are being displayed. So
wow.
who
One of
knows?
these days
Yeah.
I'm going to do the show and be like, that really you, Colin?
Is that really
Is
you?
that you?
It's funny because even just this week, I was like, I think I need to get the AI avatar and the audio going and yeah, and
I
see how
know
that
I do
goes.
right now.
Yeah, I definitely need. I'm
No.
gonna do the audio. Yeah, I'm definitely doing the audio. So I know we're like next week. We're not even gonna be here, guys. So
It's not even really us
awesome.
now.
I know this could be deepfakes. Kim, you got anything you want to wrap up with?
Well, I'd just like to reiterate to our loyal viewers and to all of those that are new viewers, thank you for being here. But also, I'd like to let you know about the AI Tools Hub, which is a searchable database of AI tools. So basically, you can go to our website, aiadvantageagency.com, or go to myaitools.co, and you can easily find whatever tool you're looking for. Just search for your desired outcome and it will pop up a tool to solve your problems. It's like
Yeah,
magic. AI
it's like magic. It's really cool. Yeah, it's really cool. And I think Kim loves tools, and so
Oh
this
yeah.
was something that she created just to be a helpful resource for everybody.
Yeah,
And
it's
that's a lot
totally
of the
free.
things. Yeah, a lot of things we have are just like, hey, we know that you guys are interested in AI. We know that you want to use it to grow your businesses, make your marketing better. So that's why we've got these resources for you. Same with the AI Prompt Exchange. Definitely go over there, check that out. If you're using ChatGPT or any sort of generative AI for anything, I would say go to the aipromptexchange.com and just see what's there. You'll definitely get some inspiration. It might make you a better prompt engineer. And if you've got some good prompts, we'd love for you to join that community and share those. So thank you
Yeah, and
guys
if
so
you
much.
Oh, I was going to say, if you're new to prompting and you don't really get what this whole prompting thing is all about, we actually have a couple beginner's guides on our website about prompting, like prompting 101, and also how to use task first prompting, which is a really important strategy. So if you need any help in the prompting area, check it out.
Yeah. Yeah. So just go to aiadvantageagency.com, check those out. And yeah, you'll be on your way happily prompting in no time. So awesome. Thanks so much for that, Kim. Thank you guys. We will see you next week. We should be back to 10 a.m. again next week. See you guys all then. Take care.
Have a good week.